Welcome back to Snippet Coder, and we are back with another video. In this video, we will learn how to create, update and delete product from the Flutter application using WooCommerce API. This is our application. If I click on the add product, we are getting the form to create the product, and here we have the product name and we will put here simple product. Then we have the regular price here. We are putting here 500 and the sale price we are putting here 250. Then we have that images here. And we have using a multi-image picker, which is a Snippet Coder utility. And here if I click on any of the image, then we will click here. Okay, and right now we are using a camera. We can also use the gallery here. So here we can have that product description also, and we will put here test product. So now we will click on the save button. So here that product has been created. So now you can see here that simple product has been created with that sale price is showing here and the image is showing here. If I click on edit here, and we are getting all the details here. Now we can also edit the product. If I put here simple product 500 and I click on the save button here. So now you can see here detail has been updated here. So before starting the video, if you are new to our channel, subscribe the channel by clicking on the subscribe button and click the bell icon to get notified about our latest video. Thank you. So this is the plugin which we are using in our admin series, that is Snippet Coder Utils, and this is the plugin developed by Snippet Coder team. And here we are having a multiple features here. First feature which we are using here is form helper, and that will be used to create a custom UI, text box, drop down and button, and more feature will be added soon. Then we have the data table utility with generic collection, sorting, edit, delete and custom action buttons. Then we have progress HUD, that is head up display. Then we have hex color converter, and recently we have added new feature that is multiple image picker with add and remove image. So simply what you have to do, you have to add the package to the PubSpec. Then here we have explained that how to use that package. For the form helper to display this type of UI, we have to use this type of code here, and we are using here input field widget, which is without any label and all. If we want to show any label, then we have to use this input field widget with label. And here all the code snippet you can follow, and accordingly you can implement in any of your projects. Then we have the parameter constructor parameters, which will be used for using the utility and all. You can read and use according to your need. Then we have the list utils, and that will be used for our data table utility. And here we have the data table with our columns, and then we have that our headers, then we have that columns, and then we have that edit and delete buttons. And here the example code to how to use that utility. And here the constructor parameters on how to use that variables and all. Then we have our progress HUD, which we have used in over almost every video. Then recently we have added that multi-image picker, and here we have that option to add as many as images which we want, and we can add the image and we can delete the image also. And the code is very simple to use. You can read the documentation and accordingly you can follow that. So I need a favor from everyone, like you have to go to our package and there you have to click on the like button. So now let's move to the code part. So now we will go to our product list page, and from here we will add our add product button. And for adding that we have to go here in our product filter, and here we will add form helper dot submit button. And here we have the text here, and we are putting an add product. Then we have that on tap event, and here we will add get to, and we are using get package to navigate. And before that we have to create the page here, product underscore add edit dot file, and we are making it as a stateful widget, product add edit. Then here we will save it. So now from here we will pass product add edit. Then here we have to pass the page type also, and we will add here in a constructor final page type. Then we have final product model, and here we will pass in the constructor this dot page type, this dot model. So now from here we will pass page type is equal to dot add. Then we have to put a border radius here, and we are using a 10. Then we have the width here, and we are putting here 100. Then we have the font size, we are using here 12. And after that we will put here size box, and that will be used for some spacing after that button. And the width we are using here 10. So what we have did here, we have added one child here, that is submit button, by using form helper Snippet Coder utility, and we are putting a name as a add product. Then we are putting an on tap event, and from there we are just navigating from this page to product add edit page. Then we are putting a border radius, width, then we have that font size here. In the same way we will do for the edit button also, and for doing that we have to go to product item dot file, and here we have that our edit button, and here we will put get to, and we will copy this code here and we will paste here. And here we have to import, same way here also, and this one also. Instead of putting here add, we will put here edit. Then we have to pass the model here, and we are using here this model. Then we will modify our product add edit file, and here we will change it to base page, and here also we have base page, and this one we will change to page UI, and we will remove this constructor. Then here we will create product model, and here we will have override void initialize state, and here we have super dot initialize state. Then we have the title here, this dot page title is equal to, and we will check here if this dot visit dot page type is equal to add, then we will show here add product, else we will show here edit product. And same way we will check here if this dot visit dot page type is equal to page type dot add, then we will have this dot product model is equal to new of product model, means we are getting here new product here, that's why we are initializing the product model class with our new object. In the else condition we will assign our this dot product model is equal to this dot visit dot model. That means in the edit we are just assigning our product model with the model which we are getting from our list page. So now let's run the application to see is that page is working or not. So here if I click on the add button, we are getting to the add product page, and from here if I click on the edit button, we are getting to the edit product page. So now let's move further to design our UI for our add product. So now we will create the form here, and here we will add the global key, form state, global key is equal to global key form state, and here we will design the form here, and we will return here return new form. Then we have that key here, key global key, then we have the child here, and we are using a single child scroll view. Then we have the child here, and we are using a padding, and the padding we are using here edge insert dot all 10. Then we have the child here, and we are using a column visit, and here we are using main axis alignment, and we are using a start, and for the cross axis alignment we are using a cross axis alignment dot start. Then we have the children's here. In the first children we are going to use the product name, and for that we are using here padding edge insert dot only, and the padding we are taking from the bottom 10. Then we have the child here, and here we are using form helper dot input field with label. The first one is a context, then the icon, and the icon we are using here any icon because we are not showing any prefix icon here. Then we have the key name, and we are using a name. Then we have the label here, the label will be product name. And then we have the hint text, and we are not using any hint text. Then we have the on validate, and we are checking here if on validate dot is empty. Then we are showing here message product name is required, and by default we are returning here null. And for the on save value we are assigning the value this dot product model dot name is equal to on save value. Then we have the initial value that will be used for the edit product and all, and we are assigning here this dot product model dot name. Then we have the border color, and we are using here theme of context dot primary color, and same we are using for the border focus also. Then we have the border radius here, and we are using a 10. Then we have the padding left, we are using a 0. The padding right, we are using a 0. Then here for the show prefix icon, we will make it as a false. We don't want to show any prefix icon. Then we have the on change event, which is not required. We are just putting here in case if it is required. So now let's see the UI also side by side. And here if I click on the products, and if I click on the add product, now we are getting a product name. So now let's move further. So now we will add the pricing here, and for adding that we have to use the row visit, and we have the children's here, And the first children, we are using a flexible visit. And here we have the form helper dot input with field label. And here we are not using any prefix icon, so we can put any icon here, icons dot web icon. Then we have the key name, and we are using a regular price. Then we have the label here, and we are putting a regular price. Then we have the hint text, then we have the validate, and here we are checking if on validate dot is empty. Then we are returning here required. In the else condition, by default we are showing a null. Then we have the on save value, and we are putting here this dot product model dot regular price equal to on save value. Then we have the initial value here, and we are assigning it with this dot product model dot regular price. So now you can see here that regular price is coming here. So now we have to design some more, and here for that prefix icon we will make it as a false. Then we have the border focus color and border color also, and we are using here theme of context dot primary color. Same for the border focus color also. And border radius we are using a 10, padding left 0, padding right 0. Then here we are using the suffix icon, and we are putting a container. And here we have the decoration part, and we are using a box decoration. On the border radius we are using here border radius dot circular 10. Then we have the color here, and we are using a theme of context dot primary color. Then we have the child here. The child we are using a column visit. The main axis alignment we are using here main axis alignment dot center. Then we have the children's here, and here we are using a text visit, and here we can show the currency, and we are putting a dollar. Then we have the style here, and we are using a text style, and the font size we are using here 20. The font weight we are using here font weight dot bold. So now you can see here we are getting a suffix icon as a dollar here. Then we have the on change event. Same way we will copy this flexible visit, and we will use it for our another field, and we'll copy paste here. And here we will put sale price, and here also we will change it to sale price. This one also we will change to sale price. So now you can see here we are getting two fields here. One is for the regular price, second is for the sale price. So now here we will put size box, and we are using height of 20. Then here we will put that button for the save button. Center visit we are using here, and here we have the child, and we are using a form helper dot submit button. And the text we are putting here save. Then we have the on tap event, and here we will check if validate and save, and we will make one function here bool validate and save. And here we have final form is equal to global form key dot current state, and we will check here if form dot validate. Then we will do form dot save, and we will return it true. Else we will return here false. And here we will check if form validate and save, then only we will do our API calling and all, and that we will cover later on. Then we have the button color here, and we are using here theme of dot primary color. Then we have the border color here, and we are using same theme of primary color. Then we have the text color, and we are using here colors dot black color. So now you can see here we are getting a save button also. So now let's move further to integrate the API and all, and after that testing the API working properly and all. After that we will add more feature over here in this form. So now we will modify our API service file. We will go to the service folder, and from there we will click on the API service file, and here in the bottom we will create new function here, and we will have future product model create product, and here in the parameter we are passing here product model, and we will make it as a async here. Then we will have login details is equal to await shared service dot login detail, and this will be used to get that our host name and the keys from our shared preference. Then here we will create our auth token, and we will have variable of auth token is equal to base64.encode. Then here we will have utf8.encode, and here we will pass login detail dot key, and then we have login details dot secret. Then here we have to create the request headers, map string request headers, and we will create here. First one is a content type, and we are going to provide here application JSON. Then we have authorization, and we are using here basic auth token. Then here we have to create a URL, and we are using a where URL is equal to new of URI.https, and the first parameter we are using here login detail dot host. Then we have endpoints here, and we are providing here wp json /wc /v3 /products, and here we will get the one variable that is response is equal to await client dot post request, and we are doing here post request, and we are providing a URL. Then we have the headers here, and we are passing a request header. Then we are passing the body here, and we are using a JSON encode, and we are passing here model.toJSON. Then here we are checking if response.status code is equal to 201. That means product has been created in the server. Then we are returning here product from JSON, and we are passing here response.body. In the else condition, we are passing here return null. So what we are doing here, we have created one function that is create product, and we are passing here product model as a parameter, and return type we are passing here future type of product model. And here we are getting the login detail from the shared service, and then we are creating here auth token, and then we are creating here request headers, and we are passing here content type. Then we are passing authorization. Then we are creating the URL here, and we are passing a login detail dot host, and here the endpoint we are using wp json /wc /v3 /products. Then we are getting the response here, and we are passing a client dot post request, and here we have URL. Then we have the headers here, and we are passing a request header, and the body we are passing a JSON encode, and we are passing a model.toJSON. And here we are checking if response.status code is 201. That means entity has been created on the server. Then we are returning a product from the JSON, and we are passing a response.body which we are getting from the API. In the else condition, we are passing just null. Same way we will copy this function, and we will paste here, and we will change it to update product, and here we will change endpoint to product /model.id.toString, and here client.put, and we are doing here put request, and here in the status code we are checking it 200. So what changes we did, we just changed the name of the function to update product. Then we will pass here product ID. Then we have changed the client request to put request, and we are checking here if the status code is 200. Then we are doing the same process. So now let's move further to the products provider class, and from there we will create the function to use our this API function, that is create product and update product. And now we will go to the product provider, and here we will create product, and the parameter we are passing here product model, and here we have the function here on callback function, and we will make it as async here. Then here we will have product model underscore product model is equal to await API service dot create product, and we will pass here model, and here we will check if product model is not equal to null. Then we are just adding our newly created product to our product list dot add, and here we are passing underscore product model, the response which we are getting from the API, and here we are returning on callback true. That means product has been created successfully. In the else condition, we are just passing here on callback false, and here we are calling notify listener. So what we are doing here, we have created one function here that is create product, and we have that parameter of product model. Then we have function callback, and we are making as a async here, and then we are creating one variable for product model, and there we are calling our API service dot create product, and we are passing a model in that create products API service, and there we are checking if the product model is not of null, then that means the product has been created successfully in the server. Then we are just adding our newly created product model in our product list, and then we are calling a callback true. That means the product has been successfully created. And the else condition, we are just calling on callback false. Then we are just calling the notify listener. In the same way, we will just copy this and we will paste here, and here we will change it to update product, and this one we will change it to update product. We will pass here model, and here we will check if not of null. We will just remove our product list, and we will call here product list dot remove, and we will remove this model from our list, and we will add our updated product model, and rest of the code is same. So what we did here, we have just call our API service when we get the successfully update in the product. Then we are just remove this model from our product list, and we have added the newly created product model from the server. So now let's move the UI part to integrate this provider and API service in our UI. So now we will go to product add edit screen, and here we will call provider of loader provider, and here we have the context listen false dot set loading status, and we will make it as a true here. That means we are just calling our API service. That's why we are just starting the loader here, and here we will check if this dot visit dot page type is equal to page type dot add. That means we have to call our API service of create product, and we will call here provider of product providers context, and the listen we will make it as a false here. Then we will call here create product, and here we will pass the model here, this dot product model. Then we have that on callback, and here we will set the loading status to false. That means the API call has been completed, and here we will check if val is true. That means product has been created successfully. Then we will call here get dot snack bar. The title is admin app, and the message is product created. Then we have here the snack position, and we are using a snack position dot bottom. Then we have the duration here, and we are using a duration seconds 5. And after that we are just moving our page to home screen, and we are just removing all the history of that particular page, and we are going to the fresh page, and here we are going to home page, and we will save it. And here in the else condition of update product, we will copy this code and we will paste here, and here we will change it to update product, and here we have this dot product model, and here we will change the setting loading status to false, and here we will put product updated, and rest of the code is same. So now let's run the application to see is it working or not. So here we will click on the add product, and we will add new product here, new sample product testing, and we will put here regular price as a 500 and sale price as a 200, and we will click here save. So here that product has been created, but we are getting the error because we have not added image to our product. So for handling this, we have to modify our page, and we will go to the product listing, and from there we will go to our product item, and here where we are showing the image, we have to put the condition here. So here we will check if model.images.length is more than 0, then we will show this image, else we will show here default image, and here we have that no image available. So now let's reload the application. So now you can see here error has been gone, and we are getting here our no image available, and we are getting that product also. If I click on the add product, so now we are getting our product name, but that price is not coming. So let's see what the issue is. So here the issue is in the to.json in the product model, we are passing the wrong variables here, and we have to pass here regular underscore price, and here in that sale price also sale underscore price. Let's reload the application to see. So let's add this product. So now if I put here 600, and here I will put 350, and we'll save it. So here the price is getting saved. So now let's move further to add product description and multi-images. So now we are going to implement our product description, and for that we are going to use this plugin, that is HTML Editor Enhance, and this will be used to implement our HTML tags and all in our product description. So now let's copy this package and we will implement in our application, and here we will go to the PubSpec and here we will add. So now we will go to our product edited page, and from here we will go to the top, and here we will add HTML editor controller. HTML controller is equal to HTML editor controller. So now after the sale price we will put here HTML editor, and here we will assign HTML editor controller. Then here we will have HTML editor options, and here we will put hint product description. Then we have the initial text, and we will assign with this dot product model dot description. Then we have the toolbar here, and we are using here HTML toolbar option, HTML toolbar option, and we are using here toolbar position dot top above editor, and this will show in the top. Then we have the toolbar type, and we are using here toolbar type dot native grid. Then we have that default toolbar buttons, and we are showing only font buttons. Then we have that other options, and the height we are using here 400. So now in the save button we will put here, if that validate and save is true, then here we will have this dot product model dot description is equal to await this dot HTML controller dot get text, and we will make it as a async here. So now let's run the application to see is it working or not. And here we are getting the error here, and the error giving us the suggestion like we have to change the minimum SDK version from 16 to 17. So now we will go here in the Android folder, and here in the app, and we will go to the build.gradle, and from here we will change the version from 16 to 17, and now we will run the application. So now application working fine. So now we will go to the products here, and if I click on the add product, so now here we are getting the editor here. Now if I try to edit any product, if I click here, so now here I am getting the data. So now I will change it and we will make it as a bold. So now it is bold, and here I will put testing product. So I save it. So here if I click again on the edit button, so now you can see here the text is coming as a bold here, and description is working fine. So now let's move further to add our product images. So now let's move further for the last topic of the video, that is multi-images for the products. And for doing that we have to go to our PubSpec, and we have to make sure we are using the latest version of Snippet Coder Utils, that is 1.0.5. Then we will move to our product edit page, and after the description we will add here padding, and the padding we are using here agenset.only, and from here left we are using here 10, and the bottom we are using here 10. Then we have the child here, and we are using here text widget, and we will put here product images. Then we have the style, and we are using here text style. The font size we are using here 20, and the font weight we are using here font weight dot bold. Then after that we will put here multi-image picker, and this is a Snippet Coder utilities package, and we will put here total images which we want to show, and we are putting here 6. We can also change any n number of images which we want to show. Then we have to put here image source, and we are using here image pic source, and we are using gallery, and we can also use the camera here. Then we have the initial value, and we are picking from this dot product model dot images dot map, and we are mapping it with the source dot to list. Then we have the event for on image change, and for doing that we have to create one variable here, and we will create list object images, and we will initialize with the empty array. And here in that add condition we will put here this dot product model dot images is equal to empty array. Then here we will have the images, and we will assign this dot images is equal to images. So what we are doing here, we have that multi-image picker, and we are putting here 6. that means we have to show 6 images container. Then we are putting a source, that means we have to pick the image from the gallery. Then we have that initial value, and we are picking this initial value from our product model.images, and that will be used in the case of the edit image and all. Then we have that on image change, and here we will have whenever any change in the image, that is when we add any image or when we remove any image, we will update this list of object of images with this latest update. So now let's run the application to see is it working or not. And here if I click on the products, and now if I click on the add product, so here you can see we are getting that multiple images, total of 6, and if I click on any of that, we are getting here permission to show the gallery. If I click allow, we are getting all the images here. Now if I click any of the image, you can see here image has been selected. So if I remove this image, the image will be removed from here. So if I increase the total images to 9, you can see here total 9 images. If I reload the application, so now you can see here we are getting total 9 images here. So now let's move further to implement this image picker with our image uploading and all, and we will change it back to 6. So now we will go to our model file, product model file, and there we are going to add one variable here, and here we are adding is upload, and we are taking as a bool type, and by default it will be false. And this will be used to tell that this image is new and we need to upload it in the server. So now we will modify here in our product added file, and here we will put images dot length is more than 0. That means we have changed any image here. Then only we will empty our product model dot images, and we will reassign the new values here. And here we will have images for each, and we will change it to img, and here we will check if img is image upload model, and that will be coming from the snippet coder package. Then here we will check if image.image URL is equal to null. Then we will add this dot product model dot images dot add, and here we will add new images, and here we will have source, and we will pick from img.image file and is upload, and here we forgot to pass in the model, and here we will pass this dot is upload. So now here we will get is upload true. The else condition, we will pass this dot product model dot images dot add new images, and here we will have source img.img URL is upload false. So what we are doing here, we are just looping from images dot for each, and first we are checking here if that image dot length is more than 0, that means there is a change in the images. Then we are just empty our product model dot images with the empty array. Then we are looping through images dot for each loop, and we are checking here if there is any image upload image selected in that container. Then image is a type of image upload model. Then we are checking here image dot URL is equal to null, that means that container is not having any existing image, that means that image has been selected again by the user. Then we are adding that image in our product model dot images, and we are passing here image.image file, that is the local file that is stored in our local device when we select an image, and we are assigning it is upload to, that means this file is going to upload to the server. In the else condition, we are just passing that product model.images and adding that image with that image URL which is already exists in the image, and that will be the case of our edit images. And by default, in that case, in is upload will be false. The scenario will be like in the case of the product edit, if we are already having any 5 images and we are going to add any 6 new image, and in that case the new image will be uploaded to the server, and the rest of the image URL will be used as same as it is. So for that reason, we are just putting is upload false in the case of if we are already having any image URL. So now let's move to the provider file, and we will add the code to upload the images and all. And here we will go product provider, and here in the create product we will add list images product images is equal to new of list images dot empty growable true. Then we will check here if model dot images dot length is more than 0. That means there is images in the model images and we need to upload those images. And here we are going to use await future dot for each. We are not using any normal for each over here because we are going to do the REST API call here. For that purpose, we have to use the future dot for each loop here. And here we will pass model dot images, and the element we will pass here images. And here we will have one variable string image URL is equal to await API service dot upload image, and here we will pass images dot source, and we will check here if image URL is not equal to null, that means image has been successfully uploaded. And here we will put async here, that means image has been successfully uploaded. Then we will add product images dot add, and here we will add new images, and here we will define the source image URL. So here suppose if we have more than one image, then it will do the loop for each and every image, and on the successful image uploading it will add all the image URL in our product images array. So now here we will check if product images dot length is more than 0, that means new images has been uploaded. Then we will assign model dot images is equal to product images. Same way we have to do here also in the update product, and here we will copy this code, and this line of code will come here. So now we will copy this code and we will paste here, and here we will check if images dot is upload, that means images need to be uploaded, then only we will do this uploading process. And else condition, we are just going to product images dot add, and here we will add images, and the source we will take from our images dot source. So what we are doing here, we are just checking here if the images model dot images length is more than 0, that means there is a images to be uploaded. Then we are just passing here model dot images, and here we are checking if that images dot is upload is true, that means this image is going to be uploaded. If in the else condition, then we are just passing that URL in our collection, and rest of the code is same. So now let's run the application to see is it working or not. So before going to use this, we have to make sure we are having a valid JWT token, and we will go to the setting, and there we have to generate a token, and we will click on the login. So now the token has been generated, and here we are going to edit any of the image to see the existing images are showing or not. We will click here and edit. Now you can see here we are getting the existing image here. So now we are going to upload any new image from here. We will click here, and from here if I select an image, so now if I click on the save, so here we are getting any error. Let's see what the issue is. So now let's put the debugger here in the API. So now let's again click on the save. So we are getting a response here. So we are getting response 400. So let's see what the issue is. So here we are getting the error. So we have to go to our product model file, and we will go here, and here in the to.json we have to comment this line, because we have to just send our source, not the ID. So we will reload the application. So now let's try again to see is it working or not. So now here if I click on the edit, so from here if I add new image, now if I click on the save, yeah, so now it is working fine. So if I click on the products again, and from here if I go to the edit, so now you can see we are getting two images here. Same way we can do for the ad product also. So that's all in this video. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, comment, share. I will come back soon with another awesome videos. Thank you all.